I grew up in Las Vegas. I was born and raised there. Elvis, my parents, went to his wedding. Growing up with these kind of people was just something that, we never thought twice about. And when you grow up and then you realize things aren't like that everywhere else, it's kind of a funny thing.
She and her two brothers grew up working in the hotel business and in the restaurant business.
You worked any shift that you were told, and we all had to work in the coffee shop for my aunt. You didn't get to pick your days off. You worked the schedule you were given.
You did what you were told to do. You deal with it, and that was part of what she is today.
Her childhood experiences sculpted Esther into a career woman who poured herself wholeheartedly into everything she did. In a place like Vegas, where men seem to hold all the cards, this armed and fabulous woman refused to play by the rules.
When I graduated from college, I went to work for one hotel, and I was the media buyer, and was fortunate enough to meet some other people when Sheldon Adelson bought the Sands Hotel, which is now the Venetian. And I was hired as the director of advertising and PR at the age of 24. So I was the youngest director of a major strip property ever in Las Vegas. There were 35 executives on the entire staff. Only 3 were female. We had a mutual friend who over the years would fix me up with various people.
Our annual shopping center convention is in Las Vegas, and each year at the convention, Terry would have a big party. So I asked Terry, I said, well, I'm gonna be out for the convention, and I know you're gonna have a party. Why don't you fix me up with somebody?
We finally meet, and we have 3 dates in a row, and I'm in the middle of a political campaign, and I ultimately, in a matter of weeks, give up my campaign for public office, and we get engaged.
We met in May at the convention. We got married in September.
I would have never imagined that I would have left my hometown that I was so connected to and such a big part of, to move to Indiana, give up everything and get married and move away. But it's been an interesting journey, and I dearly adore my husband. And so, we've been married 11 years, and he's just fun. We truly, truly enjoy spending time together and are happy spending time together.
Esther's gaming background from a life in Vegas led to an unexpected place at her new home in Indianapolis. After several more political campaigns, she switched gears entirely and took on a new project, cleaning up the Indiana State Lottery.
They weren't making the money that they really should have been making, but it was by virtue of the fact that no one had really come from the gaming industry ever. And so the industry thinking was that if you do the research, it will show that gambling, and specifically lotteries, target out the poor and minorities. Couldn't be anything further from the truth. Our primary market were men 25 to 45. Secondary market were women 35 to 45 with a college education. That is hardly a minority and hardly the poor. So when you start developing those games to attract, who your core audience is, I put a lot of policies and procedures and plans and developed games that, did that.
She's not afraid to get in there and do what needs to be done. You're not out there for a popularity contest. You're out there to get something done and to accomplish something. She's got a good track record of doing that.
We had the most profitable years from a net revenue standpoint of any other year that the lottery's been in existence. Off and on, periodically, things would happen in my life that would bring me back to shooting. I basically was assaulted in a hospital parking lot. I had literally gone in one way of a parking lot, and a guy had gone in another way, and I saw a spot. I got it. Didn't see him coming. Went in, got my prescription, came back out, and he was sitting in the same spot on the hood of his truck, and he's yelling and screaming at me. So I get in my car, and he turns and starts to follow me, and my car gasoline thing, the light starts flashing and the bell's dinging like you're gonna run out of gas. And I'm like, he cut my fuel line. I'm really mad. So I pull in the emergency entrance of the hospital where the ambulances go, and he sees me and he pulls in the main entrance ahead of me to the parking lot for the hospital. And I'm like, who is this guy? So by the time I walk out of my car across just a little driveway into the hospital, I'm a train wreck, and I just burst into tears, and I'm frightened, as I should be. And there are 2 police officers in there. We go back out to my car, put the key in the ignition, and the bell's not dinging, the light's not flashing, nothing. Still to this day, don't know what happened, other than I'm gonna say God said, she needs to get out of here. This guy's not safe. And that kind of brought it back home to me again. It changed my life. And that's when I started carrying a gun again. Not that you would do something, but at least you knew you had the means to protect yourself. When Tom and I got married, I didn't have anything to do here. I didn't have a job. So the first thing I did was look for a place to ride. And since then, we've had quite a few horses. And I just can't imagine my life without them now. Riding is that bond that you have with that horse. It's something that you really can't convey what a incredible feeling it is. They just do cute, funny things. And then of course they respond when you have a bad day. They know you've had a bad day.
The way she deals with animals is really very similar to the way she deals with people. She's a very caring person, very loving person, and likes to take good care of people and good care of animals, good care of things.
You can have all the carrots you want. Oh, yes, pretty boy. Well, the big thing that happened was Tom was riding horses and had an accident, fell off and broke his hip and his elbow. Well, this kind of changed everything. And I thought, what can he do that's still fun and that we can do together and enjoy it? So I said, well, what about skeeter trap? So bought a Benelli, loved that gun, and I said, now I need someone to really teach me how to use it properly. So found a guy at the gun club, Bob Self, who's a national and international champion and a phenomenal teacher.
I started teaching Esther 3 or 4 years ago. She came out by herself at first, and then she brought her husband. Esther is a natural. She can lean in, mount the gun, and doesn't even think about that. It just happens.
I didn't realize how competitive we really were.
There is an inner competitiveness in my being, so that's carried over into the gun arena. It's a good day for me when I can beat her in sporting clays. It doesn't happen a lot, but every now and then.
So now it has gone from the skeet and trap shooting to sporting clays to bird hunting and to deer hunting.
You can enjoy shooting sports at any level.
It has really encompassed more than just a sport. It's a totally different look on life. I'm a big believer on values, morals, and ethics, but also very principally oriented, and that, it's put up or shut up. And the right to defend myself and the right to have a gun and the right to shoot is given to me by my country. And my father probably is the one that drove that home, that, guns are just a part of being an American.
The Second Amendment is very important, needs to be protected. And I appreciate an organization like the NRA that does that work. The women's event, I think, I'm certain it's going to be one of the best ever, because she just won't settle for anything less.
I don't think you could have picked anyone better than Esther Schneider to chair that event.
Esther doesn't float along. She's a hard charger, she gets things done. She doesn't take something on unless she wants to do a good job with it and be successful at it.
And the Women's Leadership Forum takes life to a different level, because it makes people pay attention to what's going on now here in our own country. Women in another country can't drive, they can't vote, they don't have a voice. We do, and this is a great way to introduce them to getting accustomed to standing up for themselves. That learning to shoot, learning to speak up, learning to get involved, learning to motivate others to do the same thing. Every woman I've ever talked to about guns that was so negative had never even held one, let alone seen one with their own eyes. I love to introduce women to shooting because it is an equalizer, that it does instill confidence.
My house was broken into, and thieves came in while my husband and I were asleep and stole my purse out of our kitchen. And realizing that, had they come into the house further, we wouldn't have had a way to protect ourselves. It was something that for weeks afterward, it was hard to sleep at night.
And one Sunday, she calls me and she's like, "Hi, it's Janet. I want a gun." And I'm like, "Whoa!" So we brought the buffet of guns and took Janet to the range. She shot, didn't say a word, walks out, and she's at the counter with the sales rep. She points down, she goes, "That one." And she picked out a Kimber 45. I have never taken anyone to the range that walked away and said, "I don't want to do this again." Every single one of them has said, "Wow, this was tremendous."
It gives me a great feeling of confidence and security, knowing that it's there if I need it, and knowing that I know how to use it if the need arises.
I mean, she's probably what most people would think would never own a gun and never dream of going hunting. And, shatters all the images that a lot of people, the negative images that people have of women and guns.
That's probably something I underestimated, the social connection and the fun that we had. I didn't anticipate, I guess, beforehand.
What I would hope other women take away is that, yes, we can empower you. Yes, you can have confidence and say, "Hey, you can change your situation, but you have to have the moral strength and the will to do it and rise up and help yourself." Instead of being afraid, go at it, learn it, and have fun. Life's too short not to be fun. You can still be responsible, but have fun.